it's a real pleasure for me as a longtime fan to be sitting here with Aaron Gray.
Here with Larry Hama.
We're talking with Kevin J. Anderson, best-selling author.
Mr. Neil Adams.
I am here with David Prince.
Axel Alonso, editor.
Shadow Stevens. And Dallas Comic-Con with John Delancey.
With Tom King.
Kevin Conroy.
Free comic book day.
Denise Crosby.
PopCon Pop Expo.
Here on location at Star Wars
We're
Celebration.
Sci-Fi Expo talking for our second time with Gil Gerard.
Wichita, Kansas at Time Eddie.
Producer David Gerald.
I've got Eric Flint.
Are here at Smallville Comic-Con.
Wizard World St. Louis.
VillageCon in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Michael Lombardi.
We were talking with Alan Dean.
Quincy Allen.
Suzanne Lambden.
Founder of Starlog Magazine, Mr. Kerry Oakley.
Chris Sami.
Len Weed. Dave Schwartz. Mano Intirami. Jason Aaron.
This is Sci-Fi for Me, your portal to the science fiction multiverse.
The Immortal Mask, a 1970s superhero crime noir adventure that follows a retired soldier who is given a covenant interview with a death row inmate. What he learns from the interview thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to utilize his military training to survive from being hunted for the information that could topple the most powerful ruling class in the city. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at denali's.com. The Immortal Mask, a 1970s superhero crime noir adventure that follows a retired soldier who is given a covenant interview with a death row inmate. What he learns from the interview thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to utilize his military training to survive from being hunted for the information that could topple the most powerful ruling class in the city. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at denali's.com.
Seconds to curtain, folks.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
All right, y'all got some extra video play there because RJ's mouse broke last week, and I bought. I'm on a hunch, on a real fast purchase. I bought this mouse here. I'm like, that looks cool. It's a freaking gaming mouse. So it's got like buttons where my thumb normally sits, and it changes its speed. And I've gone out and I bought myself a real basic mouse today. I just haven't taken the time to put it on yet. This thing's going. I mean, this thing it's like, look, I don't know if you can tell. This thing is glowing. It changes colors as it sits there. I'm like, I don't need that.
I don't need all that.
And
you dirty boomer.
The fun is, if I'm moving the mouse and my thumb hits that button, it acts as a back page, and I'll be out of the studio. Like, hey,
well
welcome
now,
to the show,
RJ,
guys.
even with your regular mouse, you ended a stream once just by trying to leave the studio.
That was just hitting the wrong button. That was reflex action.
So I
It's like,
shudder to
"Show's
think.
done."
I shudder to think what kind of
3PO,
damage you
what's
can do
up?
with that. What's
Look,
going on, guys?
We got some people hitting the chat. Drunk 3PO, what's happening?
What's up, Drunk 3PO?
3PO. Thanks, man. Drunk 3PO is going to be here tomorrow, by the way. But 3PO, if you want in on this chat, let me know. I'll send you the link because this is something right up your alley, I think, here.
It kind of is. It
Yeah,
really
kind
kind
of is. Because, we're dealing with the whole cancel culture issue from yet another front now. This time with Crowdfunder, without the E at the end. They didn't pay for the whole, it's charged by the letter, I guess, when they got the URL reserved. But, wow, Chris, this was, well, okay, by now, if you haven't seen.
Web guy, what's happening? What's up, Ray? Look,
hey,
this is going to be a good stream, y'all.
If you haven't seen the video yet of Chris Brawley and David Barak from president of Crowdfunder, talking about what is and is not, and more importantly, who is and is not allowed on Crowdfunder, then you've been under a rock somewhere on Twitter or YouTube. But this is a little bit of how did that come about to be? What led up to that historic phone call? So Chris,
behind the story.
Y'all start telling people stuff, and I will try to moderate as best I can here, which means I'm going to drink this.
Well, first, I got to explain how I ended up involved in this.
Hang on, Pops. Wait a second. I'll start, and then I'm going to hand it to you.
Okay.
All right. So if you don't know by now, a lot of comic book creators were getting shadow banned in late fall last year. And so Mike Barron, good friend of mine, good friends of the show, good friend of Pops, and the creator of Nexus, creator Badger, writer of The Punisher for 5 years, on and on and on. I run his crowdfund campaigns. I ran Florida Man, I read Thin Blue Line, and we were running one for The Private American. We had it on Indiegogo. Somebody pointed out, Dan Lawless pointed out that it was shadow banned. And I said, well, sheesh, what are we going to do? Because this is really no wonder things have slowed down.
Right.
Because we were trending at the top, as you do when you hit your campaign goal real fast. So I said, well, we're ready to pull the trigger on Kickstarter. I said, and I've been looking at this other website called Crowdfunder, spelled like grinder, no E, like you guys said. And there is a Crowdfunder UK. It's not to be confused with them. George makes a good point. I don't think that's it, though. Shane Davis agrees. I'm not sure that he's talking to those people, but maybe, I don't know.
They probably answer and say, who are you?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So we pulled the trigger and we launched a campaign, but I was a little unsure of the site. So I was like, well, let's funnel people over to Kickstarter. And what we did was, and I recommend this to every, indie creator out there, if you're crowdfunding, buy a domain right out of the gate. Get a domain for your book that's simple and easy for everybody to remember. I think everybody should be advised to do that, because what we did was we went to namecheap.com, bought the domain The Private American, and at Namecheap you can redirect it to wherever you want it to go. You want it to go to an Indiegogo page, you can do that. You want to go to Kickstarter, you can do that. And I said, Mike, as soon as Indiegogo cancels us, we'll just flip it to Kickstarter. It'll be seamless. I said, do not promote Indiegogo.com, just promote theprivateamerican.com. So that's what we did. And I said, and just in case Kickstarter pulls the same stunt, let's have Crowdfunder as a backup. And we have a few backers that are like, hey, I don't like either one of them, man. How can I get the book? Crowdfunder, right? So it just made sense. And Crowdfunder has a way where you don't have to pay any fees. The backers will pay the fees. I mean, you can set it up. It was kind of an interesting way they set it up. I thought it was interesting. And they seemed super duper friendly towards creators. At least that's how they presented themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. The catchphrase is creator friendly, which automatically I go, I got friends on that side of the fence. I got friends on that side of the fence. This is what I need.
Yeah. And we're all about creators.
Exactly.
For sure you are. And we promote it at Bleeding Full all the time. And I know RJ has creators on this show all the time. So, I mean, it was right up our alley. It looked good on paper.
It looked wonderful.
This was, and a lot of people in CG were talking it up. Michael Bancroft had talked it up on his show. Said, "Hey, this looks like a decent place to go."
Right, because we were looking for an alternative because of what Indiegogo was doing, and you had guys like Ripa, Eric July just funded his own. Shane Davis did the same thing, but it's like not everybody can do that, and I understand the philosophy that we need to have a parallel economy, but the problem right now is so many things are getting fractured. One's going this way, one's building his site, one's building another site. You got Luke Stone building his site. I mean, the mammoth out there is Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I mean, nobody's going to catch them for years unless one of them just goes under and gets bought. And it's just sad fact reality. So then the Daily Cause article comes out that claims Mike's books are all racist AF, total lies, total BS. And they
know that. We addressed that when it happened,
Well, long story short, the minions were called out by the Daily Cause and said, quick, go cancel them on Kickstarter. Quick. Because that's all they knew about. And the reason they only knew about Kickstarter is because the person, shepherding the hate mob is a Kickstarter indie comic creator themselves.
Yes.
Yep.
And we've already, that story is long. We'll keep it short and move on.
Mm-hmm.
So I told Mike, I said, we still got crowdfunder. Indiegogo's fine. We only had a few $1,000s on Kickstarter. And Kickstarter, when they cancel you, you ain't got no way to come back from that. You can't contact anybody. You can't put out an update. You can't even get that backer information or none of their names. You just got screwed. Everybody got refunded, and they don't respond to emails. Goodbye.
Yep, that's it. It's over. And no matter how much you talk about them on Twitter.
That's right. Kickstarter don't care. They got FU money. They don't care, right? They don't care. Sorry that your $50,000 comic book or your $5,000 comic book got canceled. We've got $2 million projects over here we're worried about.
Yeah, well, that's what I say. Comics ain't where they make their money.
That's right.
Yeah, they could lose.
Who's making money in comics? I don't know who's making. Eric D. July, is he making money in comics? So, so then I'm like, okay, well, we still got crowdfunder, and Mike's doing Fox News, and all of a sudden, like we just went in a couple of days of Kickstarter, I get an email on December 21st from crowdfunder that said, hey, your campaign has been paused, or it didn't say suspended. It said something like your campaign's been paused. Please check your email. No, that's what it was. I went because I'm like Mike. I'll go to the campaign every day, hit refresh on the browser, see what the new number is, right? Anybody out there that's ever had a crowdfund knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Every 5 minutes, yeah.
Well, I think that's Mike. I just try to do it once or twice a day. And what difference does it make, right? So I go to crowdfunder, and it says this campaign has been paused. Didn't get our email. Check your email to find out why. So we went, and if RJ has shared the link yet, you can go to bleedingfool.com. It's our top story right now, and it has the exact email screenshot from Shannon Bellevue, their vice president of outreach or whatever to crowdfunders. So at this point, I said, I told Mike, I said, Mike, we've still got the data. So we pulled the information. We use Critical Blast for our data wrangling. So I immediately said, RJ, we got all this info. It's a few dozen backers, and their payment system is Stripe. So Stripe already had our account information and was already making deposits. So, they're not going to refund anything. The thing about Kickstarter is you don't get any money till the campaign concludes.
Right.
Indiegogo is the same way, but once you've gotten that first payment, you're going to get monthly payments from them until it's all tapped out, right? Every time more backers come in. Well, Kickstarter's got it worked out where, and if Indiegogo had canceled us before the campaign was over, I guess they could have done the same thing. But crowdfunder, we were getting the money and we got the data. So I was just kind of satisfied, like, you know what? Crowdfunder's small potatoes. Most people have never heard of them. They spell their name funny. They're from Canada. Are they even a good fit for private American? I don't know, but it was just an option.
Here's the thing that we need to keep in mind about this is that, as George was asking earlier, are they talking with Kickstarter and Indiegogo? No, they're not. But that Daily Kos article that you had mentioned earlier, that was consistently being updated. And when they succeeded and they got the victory with Kickstarter, they directed people to Crowdfunder.
Yeah, they discovered Crowdfunder and Indiegogo and said, hey, we've just been informed that they've also got a Crowdfunder and Indiegogo. That's why Crowdfunder didn't cancel the same time Kickstarter did. No. Because the minions, the hate mob, went after Kickstarter first. And then the hate mob went back for their marching orders, and it was like, oh shit, they got another revenue stream we need to shut off. Let's email Crowdfunder. And they were even including the email how to do it. Yes. So that is what triggered it. And Shannon tried to excuse it with that we were raising money to incite violence and hate and all that. So I immediately, within an hour or two, I appealed, just replying to the email, appealed. There's not an appeal process, right? If you think we've done this in error, you're welcome to tell us why or whatever it says. I mean, I don't know who cares? Doesn't matter. So I emailed right back. And even shared, and I had not shared this with anybody but Mike and Richard. We had just gotten the lettering back from the book. And the way I like to do the books when I'm doing these books for Mike is we'll send the finished pages out to the colorist and to the letterer, right? And I just tell the letterer, send me the letters back in layers. Because when we did Thin Blue Line, we did a black and white artist edition. So I was able to use the black and white and the lettering, but I can also slide in the color because all our books are in color. Sure. It's rare that we'll do a black and white version, but I can get it both done at the same time. So I had sent, and speaking of, if you're a backer for the Private American, we just finished the colors. The colors are done. We're going to print files this week. I'm very excited. We got a lot to announce this week. Good news stuff, not this bullshit. Pardon my French. I know it's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day.
That's why we're getting it out of the way today.
That's right. Yeah, right. Let's put this to bed. Look, we got big stuff to announce. So, so they canceled. I appealed, and I sent her. I said, Shannon. I said, look, there's nothing in this book. The guy's a Cuban American. He's a veteran who's just kind of fed up with all the drugs coming across the border, and he's doing what he can to stop. It's just a vigilante story. I mean, they've been telling him for decades. It's like Death Wish. It's like Rambo Last Blood. I said, it's no different than that. It's not for everybody, but we're not telling people to, you have to buy this. I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there. I don't buy that, it doesn't trigger me. Anyhow, she didn't respond. I sent an email, a day later, a few hours later, whatever, no response. So at that point I was like, we got the money, we got the data. Let's just, if they're not going to engage, why should I worry about it? And why make a stink about it? Because if I'm honest, if you go and look at the campaigns on Crowdfunder, a lot of them are small. Yeah. And when I say, like Butt Boys Volume 2, what's it raised? A couple $100?
And eyebrows?
Yeah, well,
I thought we were going to save that for our.
You can show it later. I mean, I'm just saying. For example, most of the campaigns there are really small, right? And I'm not trying to. I don't want to smear small-time creators. There's a lot of creators that don't raise more than a few $100. But this is Mike Barron, for crying out loud. They need Mike Barron more than Mike Barron needs. They need Comicsgate more than Comicsgate needs Crowdfunder.
They had an opportunity.
Amen to that.
They had an opportunity to perch on top of the fence and suck up all of the Comicsgate business.
Yeah, they could have.
Comicsgate was getting shunned by everybody else.
It was a missed opportunity.
They made a bad business move.
Well, so this goes into your thing, Pop. So you're a huge booster for Mike Barron. You guys are good friends online. You've been a fan for years, and you started making public demands when this guy started making the publicity rounds. You were asking for an explanation.
Explain how.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Go ahead, man.
This as a promoter, okay, I promote a lot of people. Okay, so when you ban one of them, I have to worry about now whether you're not going to ban the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And how can I promote them on your platform if I cannot trust you to honor your approval process, which we will go into, because he tries to tell me his approval process is not an approval process like everybody else's. It's a weeding out process. And I'm like, okay, fine, weed them out before you give them a contract to be on your site.
Yeah, but they don't weed them out in advance, because here's the thing about companies, Pops. The one thing companies hate to do is answer the phone. Because if somebody's calling, there's somebody complaining about something, and that's
so,
why.
But I just wanted to point out, it wasn't just my backing of Mike Barron, but it was like my position on where would I be with this crowdfunding site if I cannot count on them. Just like I can't count on Indiegogo and I can't count on Kickstarter, and I have so many friends that are using these platforms.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to Dude, and I wanted an answer as a promoter running a business to a crowdfunder running a business.
Was this on Twitter?
You if you won't work with me.
Was this on Twitter, Pops?
Yes, and I have the whole conversation queued up. I mean, I can show everything that led up to, because I was trying to get Dude to just tell me what the deal was. Because we know the book didn't break the terms of service. This is a fact. We know he didn't read the book. He admitted it. This was also a fact. So on what basis were you banning the book? And I couldn't get him to tell me. He would only talk to Chris. I said, I can make that happen. I can make that happen. And he kept trying to tell me that Chris hadn't been responding to him. Yeah. Wherein Chris shows me an email where he was responding to him right away. And it's like, oh, so your people weren't telling you that Chris appealed this. You weren't honoring your position. Okay. You say you have a board you have to go to. Well, okay. Well, the board can see truth for false as well. Okay. Now, either you're playing the game in which we can't work with you. Okay, and you just admit, all I wanted him to do was admit that he was gaming people because he has a creator-friendly hash or catchphrase on his crowdfunding page. Yeah. And when he accepted Mike Barron, I thought, maybe this is the guy. I might be able to get behind this dude. See, so in the beginning, this wasn't a hit on anybody. I wanted to be able to work with dude. I have friends that were using his site. And I was like, if he lets everybody use it, if he's actually creator friendly, I'm going to push the hell out of this guy. Damn it. I'm disappointed because I thought we had one. We finally had one, right? So, yeah, I'm a little bit upset and I'm talking to the dude. Well, the first thing the guy says to me when I began this, okay, I went out live and I might have said a few things in the wrong place. Okay. But I got his attention, which is what I was trying to do. And then he came into the inbox with me and we started talking. Now you'll see the first thing he says to me is on February 2nd is he's curious to see why I care more about Mike's campaign than Mike's publisher, who is the owner of the campaign, who never reached out to us to ask what happened. If Chris had, I would have gladly spoken with him.
Can I just got to interject. We're going to EFAP these DMs for a second, okay? On within, like I said, an hour. Let's see. She sent me that at 9:18. At 9:38. 20 minutes after she responded to me, I said, Shannon, regarding the cancellation of our campaign last night, I must inform you that your company has made this decision based on what we consider to be a malicious hate campaign against the book's writer, blah, blah, blah. I include a couple links and I say, I've attached a proof version of the book that is unfinished so that you can review the material for yourself. This book may not be shared with anyone outside of your organization as it has not been published yet. Is there anything we can do to appeal this decision? Thanks for a prompt response. And then within another hour, I said, I've also written a blog post about that Daily Cause boycott campaign so you can read it yourself. Never. Oh, wait. And then the next day, I'm following up on my response 2 days later from Wednesday regarding your abrupt decision to suspend our campaign. Have you had time to review the materials I provided on Wednesday that contradict the basis for suspending the campaign? Is there any chance that crowdfunder Connection Point will consider our appeal? 3 emails, all ignored. Go ahead, Pops.
The first day. So
yeah, well, within the third email was a couple of days, but within 20 minutes, right out of the gate. Yeah.
So I said, I've been trying to get your response to the Mike Barron issue since the day you took the book down. And anytime you'd like to come out live and explain how you caved to a lie, I'm willing to hear it. Now, granted, this is, I'm accusing him, okay, right from the beginning, because I felt like it was shady right from the beginning. So I said, I can bring Chris out too. We can do this, right? And then he comes back with maybe they didn't care since they received every single last cent that they raised from their campaign. Now, before I go any farther with that, I want everybody who runs a campaign to look at how much money you spend before that campaign launches. Doc, spend a lot of money before your campaign launched? Yeah. What about their investment, David? What if one of these guys had spent a bunch of money on 1,000 exclusive crowdfunder covers, and then you take their campaign down?
Is time not worth anything? I mean, it takes a minute to learn a brand new crowdfunding platform and build a site. I mean, this ain't something you just turn off and on, guys. They know.
So he just acted like, oh, you got your money, all's good. And I'm like, no, dude, that ain't how it works, man. These guys invest a lot of money setting up a campaign, getting ready to launch. And this one had already launched.
And then we have to explain why it got shut down. Why should we have to explain anything?
So then he says, I won't discuss this live or with anyone other than the campaign owner to protect their privacy. Yeah. I can make that happen. Now, that was on February 2nd. When did he finally talk to you, Chris? You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. I would have to look at when that was, but he did not reach out to me. I'll tell you when I first communicated with him. Let's see. David Brock.
I see him. Does say it wasn't the article. He says it wasn't the article.
We'll get to that. It was all you're covering the last. We'll get to each one of these, RJ. I promise.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It was February 13th, 7:30 p.m. that I sent him the screenshot. I just basically sent him via mobile. Oh no, I sent him the screenshot. My response, and I said, Pops says you are open to taking our Private American campaign off of suspension. I was ignored after trying to get this matter rectified in the past. What do we need to do to correct this? And I screenshotted the rest of the responses I sent him. And within noon the next day, he said, thanks for sharing all this. Would you like to meet to talk this over? To make it easy, you can see my calendar and schedule a time that works for you here. I promptly scheduled it. He said, thanks for scheduling. I'd like this meeting just to be the two of us so we can speak freely. Is that okay? I said, okay, that's fine with me. Now, I must say, at this point, it's February 14th, right? And then I'm going to let you take back over, Pops. By this time, we've already retained legal representation because we have every intention to go after the Daily Cause writer. And if that leads to Kickstarter and crowdfunder and anybody else, let's see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell anybody within the sound of my voice, Mike Barron did nothing wrong.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. He wrote a story.
And we've got supporters that have provided the funding for the legal stuff. And it's totally separate from Private American, the book. We're not using any of those funds. That's got to pay for colorists, inking. That's got to give Richard Bonk his share of the moolah. I mean, Richard ain't got no dog in this fight. He's pissed, but Richard is a quiet sort of guy. Yeah.
Guys, and, one thing in the chat here from Shifter says the Canadians have changed their internet laws, so crowdfunder may be worried about that as well. I don't know if,
yeah, they might be. And I think that is really why he spoke to us or spoke to me. I have a feeling that knowing that there was we were gearing up for a legal fight, he may have wanted to find out what our plans were. So I said, okay, that's fine with me. And I say that, but I said, I'm going to record this because I want to at least be able to share this with my attorney in case something comes up. Right. And so, and I've just put it on YouTube unlisted and gave that to Ron, the attorney, and to Mike and Richard, so they could see what's going on. And I said, don't share it. And go ahead, Pop. So do you guys have more conversation here? Because I may have jumped ahead.
This goes on for a long time.
Okay.
But here's where he says, that it was not the article that made him take it down. Since none of the information in that article was verifiable by us, it was as trustworthy as the paper it was written on, kind of like your contract, David.
You notice he says the paper it wasn't written on because it was a web article. Yeah, I guess he's trying to be cute. I think he's just trying to be cute.
But it was the phone call that article generated.
It's as trustworthy as his approval process. Okay, so I come back with the fact
that Pops, and that's a lie. We were just fine because it was the article. Yeah. It was the email responses to the article. Now he's either being disingenuous and going, "Well, it wasn't the article; it was all the emails." I guess whatever, dude. It was the article. Period.
The fact is that somebody lied about a product on his site and he removed it based on those lies. There's no other explanation or reason. There's nothing racist about the book, nothing remotely true about what was said, yet you acted immediately after the article came out. And he said, to be clear, I will talk to Chris. He owns the campaign. I will always talk to any of our customers about their campaigns. 2 weeks later. Okay, my question is, if there was an issue, why didn't you talk to Chris in the first place? If you have a question about our approval, now this is where he tries to get funny and sidestep. Our approval process, I can answer that. It's not the same as the other platforms, which you assumed it was. Now, I'm going to ask, what's different about it? You approve it, you don't look at it, you just throw it up there, and then if somebody bitches, pisses, and moans, then you pull it down just like everybody else does.
Right.
What's different? What?
Right.
Okay, it's exactly the same. And that's what I told him. I said, it's not an approval process if it can be changed after the fact. He says, correct. It is exactly like the others.
That's an important point, by the way. That's an important point, Pops.
Huh?
That's an important point because he admits, he acknowledges that it's not valid if you can change it after the fact. And in fact, they did change something after the fact. Yeah. Go ahead. So I don't want to get ahead of us. Yeah.
So I said, it's exactly like the others. People enter a contract with you that you do not have to honor. And he says, not correct. Well, we know he's lying because he took your book down. Okay. They have to honor it to the letter, but you do not have to. He says, also not correct. Again, he proved it by taking the book down. If you approved it, that should have been it. No coming back because someone lies. Anyone can do that. An approval process means we researched it and approved it. He said, that's where you have it wrong. I said, no, that's where proper definitions need to be factual. What is the definition of approve? You okayed it.
Right.
Then you backtrack on a reason you refuse to discuss. I'm supposed to send customers your way, dude. How can I do that? So I'm supposed to promote a platform that wastes people's time and money.
You can't.
How am I supposed to do that?
Yeah, you can't. Bleeding Fool's not promoting any books that are on Crowdfunder either, just for this same reason. Go ahead, Pops.
Then he says we're different than the other platforms. We don't gatekeep up front. Neither do they. They let people put their stuff up, and then when people piss and moan, they take it down. You're just like the other crowdfunders.
We don't gatekeep up front. We gatekeep at the backside. Yeah, we'll kick your ass out of the gate is what we do.
We wait until you've already invested money.
If you cause a ruckus, if somebody tattletales on you and claims you're causing a ruckus, we're throwing you out. No, you can't. You can't say it was them. If they said it, you're out.
So, and then there it was, just like you approve it. If nobody complains, it stays up. If people cry, it comes down. That's gatekeep.
Yeah, right.
But I said, you can gatekeep. Go ahead. Protect your brand. I get that. But do it based on facts.
Well, you are like a dog on a bone, Pops. You are a dog on a bone, son.
Oh, dude, I was hard, man. I was hot. Yeah. I was pissed. I couldn't believe I'm promoting people on his site, and they could get removed at any time just because they associate with me. I'm promoting them on your site. Well, I'm not anymore, obviously.
Right.
I was.
He's okay with that, by the way.
So, yeah, I was hot. And then he said, I won't talk to you about that book. I'll only talk to Chris. But I'm willing to tell you our process, which is not an approval process the way you are representing it. Approval means approve. There's no fake process, dude. Either you said it was okay or not. That's what approve means. That's when a parent talking to their kid. It's okay or not. They approve it or not. I don't want to hear the bullshit. See, and this is when I started really getting mad. You know, why call it an approval process at all? Call it what it is, whatever it is. I said, I'm a promoter and I cannot promote someone who might be removed. That wastes my time and money.
Let me just say thanks to Jason for that comment. Go ahead, Pops.
What did I miss? What did I miss? Oh, yeah. Dude, Chris was a saint. I was the one that was tearing shit up.
Good cop, bad cop over here.
Yeah.
But, you know, he came here to say that he hoped that I understood that posting criticism of us on another post about something else isn't fair.
So he was basically coming to the defense of a creator that you had replied to asking about Barack's approval process.
No, he was just, I promote other people on this platform.
Yep.
Okay. And it's just like I say right there, I cannot waste time promoting people on your platform who are not going to be represented honestly.
Right.
You know, and he has said nicer things about, the guy said nice things about you. He says nice things about me because I'm above board and truthful. I don't play games with people's careers or take food off their plates. I will advise anyone to protect themselves. Then he says, well, don't promote him, but don't use him as a way to criticize us. No, dude, I want to promote him. He's cool. I just have a hard time promoting him on your page.
Yeah, basically the guy, you want to promote the creator, but the creator is saying, hey, go to Crowdfunder. And you're like, well, wait a minute. I got issues with Crowdfunder.
I can't promote you over there because that dude might stab you in the back tomorrow.
And look at him saying, I didn't take anything from Mike. You got to repeat it. Does he not realize that what he took from Mike was some dignity? You mean you can just willy-nilly cancel a legacy Eisner Award-winning writer and not think there's going to be some pushback, Jack?
Yeah.
Michael Bancroft says, we all took the code of ethics at face value, so we thought we were safe. Now, here's the thing. Code of ethics can be changed.
Exactly.
We have a winner with Michael Bancroft. And I'll tell you what, Michael has been just top shelf on board every time on this stuff. He really gets it. Comicsgate is lucky to have him, and check out cgnow.net. Anytime somebody says, oh, what about all these Comicsgate campaigns that never fulfilled, go, well, Jack, there's 80 of them that did, and you can go get all of them now at cgnow.net. Shut up.
I'm a very busy person for a bunch of campaigns that don't fulfill.
Well, go talk to me about B. Claymore and Donnie Cates and get back to me. See you later.
So here you are, where I said, if you're not looking at the campaign at first and then making a retroactive call, that serves nobody, and it wastes the time and money of more than just the creator, also promoters and whatnot. Okay. He says, I keep telling you, you're wrong about our approval process. It's not semantics. It's a real significant difference.
Why doesn't he explain it right now? Why doesn't he take a moment and tell you how it's different rather than just insisting that it's different?
We get there, but it's really not.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm sorry.
He says, you think, I said, you think he doesn't pay for promotion? That being removed from your page didn't hurt? It is you acting as if the lies are true. What do you call this? Quasi-approval process? What is it exactly? Either you said, okay, this looks good, run it, or you didn't look at it at all, but you damn sure never reached out to Chris to ask him about it before removing it. Did you read the book? Or did you make a call based on fake news? There's no logical reason for removing it after putting it up there. It makes it impossible for us to send anyone your way for fear that you will waste their time and money too. Okay? I never said you took anyone's money. I said you wasted their money. There's a lot more to a campaign than just which site it goes up on. Money is spent across the board preparing for a campaign. Slow down and let me answer. Berating me with the same point isn't going to make me want to answer you. Now, this is when I was like, oh, I know what I'm dealing with.
You know, that's such a politician move too, right? Because, let me just buy some time here and just say something.
Okay, so the main issue is you never communicated anything to Chris. You never had any discourse with him by your own admission. That's my main issue. Okay. first off, I think we've established that you don't like how we do things, and that's fine. Now, have I really berated him yet?
That's arguable.
I've berated his platform and how he does business.
Right. Agreed.
Okay. And then he's like, you don't have to promote us or any creator that chooses to use us. That's your prerogative, and I'm fine with that. Clown Shoes, I was promoting you. Getting paid by some people to promote their stuff on your platform. That makes it an issue that affects me. I cannot do it if I cannot count on you to leave campaigns up once they're up there. Some people pay us to promote them, and we do it faithfully no matter where their campaign is. Then something like that happens, and now my plate is empty too. Bravo.
David should rename the platform to Ticking Time Bomb. Every creator is free to market the book, but has to close the campaign before somebody slanders them.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
So I just say, you can talk to Chris and I'll wait for that. And they say, I'm genuinely sorry to hear that. I know that there are downstream effects and never wanted to hurt your income. I said, dude, there's a lot of things tied to people's campaigns, man. They do a lot of prep. What if he had printed an exclusive crowdfunder cover? Would he be out that money too? There's a lot more to consider when you give a spot up on your page. Once you do that, you have to honor it so I can honor it. Okay.
Yeah.
All I ask is that you not be like Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Be straight up with people. Say no, say yes, but then honor that call. Once it's up there, now I'm working for you too for free. Don't abuse that. Okay. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now it's not about honoring it or not in the way I framed it. Yes, it is. It's a contract between you and a client, Clown Shoes. Okay, it is exactly the way I laid it out. You approve, they submit to you, you approve it. That's a contract now between you and them. Whether
what he's about to admit is we don't approve them. We just let them on.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just basically what he should have said, but he wouldn't say is the term approval process is kind of BS. You know. Basically, we let you on, and then if something triggers a second look, we'll take a second look.
So he says that. He says, can we agree that this is commonly happening, that like stuff with nudity and whatnot gets pulled down? Okay. Sure, there are mechanisms in the background to detect certain things, algorithms that pull down, from
nudity or hate. Isn't that funny? I know nudity when I see it. I'm not sure I know hate when I see it.
I don't either.
Go ahead.
Unless someone, and they go live and stay live unless someone reports it. Can we agree that this is commonly happening? Now listen to what I said. I said that bad actors are constantly trying to cause others grief. Most definitely. He says, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
And now hold on, Pops. You made the leap to the conclusion, right? What you could have said was, yes, I agree that's happening. He's trying to corner you into agreeing with him. Do you understand? That's all. This is all a maneuver so that you find him to be agreeable. But you just jumped right to the point.
I cornered him into agreeing.
He wasn't ready for that. That's why he's like, oh, I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah. Really?
Unless someone reports it, as in bad actors lying. Oh, got it. Agreed.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Again, I agree. We're agreeable. Yes.
It is commonly happening. Agreed. He says, now give me a few minutes to write some more. So I say, okay. And I took a couple long hits and tried to relax, calm down.
I hope it worked.
Like those types of platforms, we don't approve or disapprove campaigns prior to launch. Then don't call it an approval process. Call it what it is. We do strictly checks for fraudulent campaigns or ones sanctioned by the government, like campaigns to support other countries or whatever, and the few other parameters that for security reasons I won't go into. And we don't allow those campaigns to launch at all. Very good. Bravo. That's how you're supposed to handle all of them. Otherwise, we allow creators to run campaigns on our site, even if they could be in violation of our terms. Well, then why have terms?
Yeah.
You're David, this is stupid. Okay? I'm trying to help you here, bro. I'm trying to help you. This is stupid. the onus is on them to self-select themselves out of using our platform if they think they could be taken down. Everybody self-select yourself out of this stupid shit till he figures it out. Okay. That would be my advice to you. Was Mike's book in violation? And before you answer, had you read it? I have not read it. So it was reported as bad, and you went with that report due to the volume of reports.
Don't bury the lead. Don't bury the lead, okay?
If you hadn't read it, then it was not at that time in violation of any TOS, correct? That's a good question, but the wrong assumption. I will tell Chris what happened. You see, every time I got
you what happened?
Every time I got him to the edge of saying I'm not doing Comicsgate, he bailed to the I'll tell Chris.
I'll tell Chris privately. I'll tell Chris privately that we don't want his kind here.
So then I dropped.
And that's what he told you. He told you that's what happened with Mike's book was that Mike
we don't want your kind around here, boy.
And this is when I posted this. I showed him this YouTube, Private American versus Daily KOS that you guys broke way back in the beginning, right? I said, you can watch this and see exactly what the truth is from Chris and Mike themselves. If you want promoters to help your site, you're going to have to find a middle ground with actual communication and research. All you had to do was reach out and ask for a copy, and then if necessary, put a sensitive material warning on it. Big fucking, that's all any of them got to do. It's so
you
stupid.
Gave him the out. You gave him the out, Pops.
That's all any of them got to do.
And even Ethan said this. The guy kind of did a little victim tweet the other day.
Yeah, he went
and
straight
Ethan
to
Van
crying.
Sciver was like, dude, just change your mind. That's all you got to do.
He went straight to crying, like we're all attacking him. No, dude, we weren't attacking you. We were trying to help you. We really were, because you could have got so much goddamn business, dude.
So much. Everybody was so tired of Indiegogo at this point.
Alone. All you had to do was leave Mike's book alone, and all these other Comicsgate people that are getting shadow banned by Indiegogo would have went, wow, Mike's book's over there. I'm going over there. You
He was
could have made
coming
a lot
in
of
to
money.
CG at a time when everyone was so tired of getting shadow banned. There were so many of them that all he had to do was say, we have a comics crowdfunding source, and we don't listen to people who call up and say things about you. And he would have had so many campaigns launching at the same time.
And he says,
I mean, how hard is it? How hard would it have been just to say, hey, man, we're getting a lot of flack here from people. What's going on with your campaign? We need to pause it, and we need to talk. Yeah. And that would have been cool. And I gave him credit in the video. I'll give him credit again. At least he's engaging. But like Joe Biden, I don't know if it's intentional or incompetence, right? All the crap our president here does. I'm not sure if he's smart enough.
No, he knows.
I don't think he's doing this out of a brilliant way of being diplomatic.
Okay, so I said canceling people has to stop unless they are truly criminal. I said this is America. Now, I didn't know he was in Canada, and I don't care. I hope you understand that I want to promote everyone. I want everyone to succeed. That's the catchphrase in the Madness Facebook group. The first thing it says in the description is, I want everyone to succeed. Okay. Yep. But I cannot waste time and money to promote a campaign that may or not be up till the end.
Let me tell you who I don't want to succeed. Scumbags trying to take money out of my business without cause.
Exactly.
So I don't want you to succeed. Other than that,
says, I'm in Canada, but I agree that people who are innocent should never be canceled.
Oh my gosh.
Did Mike do something wrong, dickhead? People who are innocent.
He's part of a marginalized group. That's what he did wrong. And he won't disavow them.
Well, he just did, though. He admits right there that innocent people should never be canceled, and he admitted that nothing Mike did was wrong.
And listen to this flattering tongues, man. I know that you have too much integrity for that, dude.
Yeah.
Stop blowing smoke up my ass.
And I certainly don't want you to lose any money. And that's why I say, walking the fences keeps you from stepping in shit. If you stray too far from the fence on either side, you end up cleaning it off your shoes all the time.
Wisdom.
Just stay near the middle where the dogs run the fence. There ain't too much shit there. Get out in the yards. Yeah. Now look, he says, I do not want Chris and Mike to lose money. Well, you already cost them money. Okay. Because like I've already pointed out a dozen times, building a campaign is not free. It's not.
Dude, time is money. Time is money, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And what he's saying here is, which is why we would never block them from anything that they earned. That's why you've already got the money, Chris. As like, he's like, well, you know, we
I'm going
didn't
to
take
tell.
the money.
Hey, spoiler alert. He couldn't have stopped us. Stripe would have had to have stopped us. So quit trying to virtue signal, saying, "Oh, we would never stop you from getting your money." That's because you can't, dude. This was a deal we made with Stripe. Stripe is your payment provider. Quit trying to pretend that you're doing us some kind of a favor.
And now he's getting ready to bail. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
You know, but this goes on that's only halfway through this conversation, guys. This goes on for a while. So, you know, he's sorry it didn't work out the way I wanted to. I said, but I feel responsible for stuff like that. And I take it a bit personally when I'm promoting somebody and the next day I can't. Okay.
Yeah, hold the slander. I'll take my money now. Please hold the slander.
Yeah. And then he says, criticizes you all you want, but don't hurt the creators. Dickhead, you're the one that hurt the creator. You. It wasn't me. And it wasn't me talking about you on other people's platform or on other people's posts.
He should really have taken cancellation seriously. And this is why.
And here's
I hope this is a lesson to anybody thinking about just willy-nilly canceling creators because of their associations or allegations.
Here's where it gets real. Because he said that, criticize us all you want, but don't hurt the creators. I said, I will do my best to keep it real. That's my guarantee. I won't lie to you about you, or I won't misrepresent you. I'll appreciate you taking a personal look into these things because Shannon's reason stated the hate part of your TOS, in which there is no hate message in Mike's book. It is a heroes and criminals book, same as every other stupid ass book out there. And having never read the book, you have no idea if it actually broke the TOS or not. And that's the bottom line. And he says, I accept that. Her response was wrong. We never read the book, but that was not the reason. Dude.
Hey, leave that on the screen for just a second there, Pops, because I want to screenshot that for our legal representatives. Okay. Thanks, Pops. Appreciate it.
That's what I mean, dude. It's like there's a whole lot behind the scenes that everybody don't know about this story. And everybody's out there talking about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, you guys, quit making assumptions and everything, because I have the whole story right here.
Yeah. It's complicated.
You know, so then right there, then you have in-house communication problems as well. Nice talk. Go hit your meeting.
You're so sweet.
Okay. Yeah, you're right about that. She made a mistake. What was her mistake? That she took Mike's book down?
And you even advise him right here in the follow-up. Listen, you'll get a lot of Indiegogo campaigns if you'll make things right. The timing is perfect.
I'm trying to help this dude, and he just like...
Nah. He's more interested in those ESG woke capital funds, baby.
Don't buy books. Dude, if those people bought books, all your campaigns would be doing a lot better.
Hey, man.
They don't buy books, guy.
Let me jump in on that, Chris, just for a second.
Go for it, Doc. Let me hear your comments.
A lot of the chat has been pointing out, and Vigo Fry did a commentary on this. The Canadian government considers now YouTube to be part of their equivalent of the FCC. So they get funding just for encrypting, promoting, and broadcasting, as long as it's like a Canada First thing. So, yeah, there's probably some of that going on, and that's just me responding to what the chat's saying, and particularly.
I think there's truth to it. And Robert Romano up in D.C. has been doing a whole lot of fighting and researching about the short hand is woke capital, and there are companies, whatever their agenda might be, that reward companies with the cheap credit or flat out funding for being able to fulfill certain roles that are environmentally friendly, environmentally friendly, socially conscious, or government transparency. Okay. So the guy doesn't hit the transparency mark, and I'm not sure ESG is also active in Canada. It may be under a different vernacular, but I think there's something to that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all it's complicated because this guy can run his freaking business however he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, Section 230 here in the States, he doesn't have to have a reason. And even in his TOS, they can deem your campaign unfit at their sole discretion.
Right.
And you agree to that when you sign up. So, I mean, really, it's like going out on a date. I mean, the other party can say, hey, I'm not interested anymore. And they don't even have to answer your calls anymore, literally.
Okay. Sorry, stupid mouse.
Okay.
I was hovering over this because I wanted to sit here and say, Jason is talking about he hadn't heard of crowdfunder before now. He'll forget about him in a week. One thing that's coming out as of today, as of last night, in fact, that you shouldn't forget about if you are looking for a place to crowdfund that does not sit there and listen to the woke crowd. This is coming out of from Luke Stone and company. So if you're in CG, you already know these people. Fundmycomic.com is live, and this is it.
You know, we went through this with Zoop and we went through this with Crowdfunder, and we're going to go through it with everybody else too. When we see results,
we're dating.
Yeah,
right. It's a courtship.
Results, then I'll get behind one of these things. But I need to read the terms of service on any of these. I have to read it all now.
Yeah.
Okay. This one soured me. Now
well, I think this is a lesson for everybody.
Yeah. This one soured me bad. Now I got to read the terms of service. Yeah. I got to know.
Pops, will you allow me to read what he says here?
Yes. Don't you love this?
Yeah. This is the good. Can you scroll up just slightly?
Well, you got to read the first one part too.
I know. Yeah. Pops, two things. First, please don't continue to group us with Kickstarter. I keep seeing you post about us. I explained that we don't have an approval process, only a weeding out process. No one is ever approved, quote unquote, before they go live. And people need to make sure they aren't in violation of our terms before they go live. So just on that topic, we weren't in violation, and we were sure we weren't. That he keeps throwing that out there, but that's just supposed to distract you. Let me see the second part here. Secondly, I never heard from Chris. Now, technically, I didn't have his email. I'm emailing the woman, his vice president.
Exactly.
3 times I emailed her. He goes, I never heard from Chris. I'm beginning to think that he has no interest in talking to me because he doesn't want the campaign to be reopened. They're getting more publicity and making more money by making noise about the campaign being taken down than they would have ever made if we had left it up. So he's speculating, and he's trying to say that since they're making money off of it, they don't want to reopen. Dude, I'm going to hitch my plow to whatever mule is going to drag it out there. And if me making noise about you being a jerk makes more people look at the campaign, great. We just want eyes on the campaign. But if we get to expose jerks in the process, whatever. So he says,
this is the funniest part about that, though. He says they're getting more publicity and making more money by making noise than being taken down. Are you saying that your campaign wouldn't have provided them any cash anyway, that you're small time, dude? They were trying to make you big time.
Well, where's the lie? Maybe we wouldn't have, right? I mean, again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Crowdfunder needs Comicsgate. Comicsgate don't need Crowdfunder.
Dun, dun, dun. There you go. See, and then I dropped that on him.
Yeah.
So
for that, they're welcome. So, no, please go back. I want the little smarmy thing at the end. Outrage and being persecuted sells more books. So for that, they are welcome. That's almost like the girl that dumped you saying, you should thank me for finding a better girlfriend than me. Get lost.
That's what I said in response to that.
Yeah. They didn't need you, man.
They tried to bring a solid seller to your page. You and your weeding out process, which is still the same thing. You weeded it out for no reason other than whiners cried about a book they had never read. If they haven't reached out to you, maybe they have been instructed not to by counsel. I don't know. And that was when I went to you and told you that he said.
That's right, because that's when I reached out to him. That's when I reached out to him. Yeah.
Then I said, you need an approval process. You need to honor it. Then you'll be the only site we promote. Until you do that, You're
just
are
like them.
just like them. And until I see a reason to change my stance, that's the bottom line. I represent creators. You claim to be creator friendly. If you do not want me speaking negatively about your site, make it actually creator friendly, not hater friendly. I've offered you the opportunity to come out live and make your actual reason for taking this book down. You passed. Do not tell me what to assume if you will not clear the air. He said, okay. Then I sent them.
Oh, you took what I shared. Okay, yeah, because at this point you're bugging me about it, and I'm like, Pops, dude, they didn't respond to me, and I even shared at this point. I shared that screenshot with you. I said, look, here's what I wrote the woman that same day.
You know?
Yep.
February 13th.
Yeah, that was the third. This is my third email to her. Yeah.
This is 6 weeks later.
Now hold on a minute. Please scroll past that. I don't want people seeing those names in there.
Oh,
that's
I'm sorry. Okay.
That's the big guns, baby. Sorry. Please disregard those names.
We can go edit that out afterwards. We can do that.
Yeah, right.
We can. RJ can do that.
Don't
I
bother.
can? Sure.
Let's just move on. We're live, dude. It's too late. Come on.
So anyway, there's obviously Chris was in contact with Shannon, and Shannon,
these are all the things I sent to him. Thanks for sending this over. And he knows all this. I had already sent it at this point.
Yeah.
I'm copying the same screenshots to you, Pops.
And this is, I'm telling him, you have his email. Your team has his email. You can fix this.
Yeah.
Thanks for sending this over.
Thank you. I'm not motivated to do anything you've suggested.
He provided proof of online harassment. He provided an email asking for reinstatement. You want me not to talk about it publicly, then fix it privately. Chris has reached out to me and I will talk to him. I said, and if you need someone else to handle that approval process for you that actually cares about indie comics, hit me up, bro.
Yeah, you got all the time in the world, don't you, Pops?
Yeah, hit me up.
Oh, sure.
He actually provided a proof of the book. Either Shannon hid all of this from you or you're being disingenuous, and it's a bad look either way.
He just wants to get you off the DMs, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he desperately wants you to shut up.
Yeah, he definitely is like, this guy's wearing me out.
And I did.
Pithy. No one's ever going to accuse you of being pithy, good sir.
Dude,
he could have blocked you early on.
What's that?
He could have blocked you and didn't. So
that's true. Listen, I don't know if that's incompetence or ignorance, but I don't know if it's strategic. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. And the rest of it, and now you know the rest of the story, because it was a few days later that we had our Zoom call. And regrettably, that entire call did not get fully recorded. But it was pretty much the same thing. At one point during that call, he said, do you think you could get Mike to just make a statement disavowing Comicsgate? Yeah. And I said,
dude, who do you think you are, David Barak? Seriously, Mike Baron is a two-time Eisner winner that's been in comics much longer than you, son. Who are you to tell him what to do?
Dude, I told him, I said, Mike's not going to do that. I said, these are Mike's friends. Comicsgate's been good to him. I said, why don't you, a more productive exercise would be for you to go out, and whoever's telling you that this is a hate, intolerance, exclusive, bigoted group, go find evidence of Mike demonstrating that anywhere online.
Mm-hmm. And not just.
And let's have a follow-up meeting. You go talk to your board and tell them what I've told you, and let's see if we can hash this out. Let's work this out. I'm a businessman. You're a businessman. That's all we're trying to do here is do business.
And that's all I was trying to do was get him to come to the table with you and realize.
Well, I'll tell you what. You wore me out, and I finally just said, okay, hey, you had showed me that he had responded. So that's when I knew his Twitter. I don't go out and look up, people on Twitter. I don't care.
He said that you hadn't.
Yeah, he's a liar.
Okay,
he lied. He lied to you. He lied to me. He lied to everybody.
Yeah, that was when I was like, no, that's bullshit, dude. You don't get to lie about misrepresenting my friends.
Yeah,
you don't get to do that.
Well, I think that this is all in the public interest. That's another thing that I want to emphasize. I've had a couple of people that I'm not even going to bother naming because they're lower than low, but are trying to say something about the ethics of sharing this private discussion, just like they will say about you showing these DMs.
Don't you mean
I'm going to tell you the
people?
United States Supreme Court and even the far left ACLU says that if it's in the public interest, privacy concerns go to the side.
Yeah.
This is in the public interest because what that means is there are hundreds of comic creators, letterers, colorists, publishers, editors, writers, pencilers, you name it, that have worked with. I mean, is Gabe El Taib? Yeah. What about my colorist who lives in Portugal? What about my inker who lives? I mean, I don't need. How far does it go? How many levels of vetting are you going to do? He said, and you guys will notice in the video that that RJ has shared of the meetings, I get him on the record multiple times saying all associates, because I even say 3 times, I think, maybe 3 times. I just want to be perfectly clear that anyone who associates with Comicsgate is basically forbidden from your platforms. Yes?
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. He says.
I got
That's
concerned,
right.
Chris, because
What's that?
I associate with Comicsgate. I have friends that are just associate with me. They don't have anything to do.
Hey, you know what? I got friends that don't believe in God. I got friends that do believe in God. Does that make me not a Christian? Am I a Christian? Am I a Christian nationalist? Am I an atheist, fascist?
The problem for me is as a promoter. Okay, if he's saying that anybody associated to me can't be on his platform, then he's going to be pulling people down tomorrow.
How many levels does it go?
How many levels of separation? Exactly. Right. Are you going to be pulling my?
Well, he's not going to go on the record for that. I expect he's not going to mention Comicsgate. I don't think the word Comicsgate's ever going to come out of his mouth again unless it happens in a court of law.
All right.
Well, speaking of that, are you planning on seeing him there?
Well, we were planning on making some really spectacular announcements this week. If you'll indulge me for a minute, I'll talk about the Private American. I mean, that's really, I'm sure Mike Barron is probably watching this right now saying, hey, man, why don't you mention the book we're selling, right? Look, theprivateamerican.com. Unfortunately, that redirects to Indiegogo, who are also kind of on our shit list, to coin a phrase. But the book is still available. This week we're going to the printer. Well, we're getting the digital files approved. This month we're going to the printer. It's all done. All the coloring's done. It looks beautiful. All the lettering's done. It looks beautiful. The book's beautiful. And it's 80 pages. I'm not sure I think the last count was 72, but we're at 80 pages of content. It looks great. It is great. And thank you, Herrenberg. Been a big booster for me. I appreciate it. And I think that everybody's going to be pleased. But also, when the Daily Cause did what they did, I immediately started running around looking for attorneys who are willing to back somebody with Mike, because Mike's a conservative. He doesn't make any bones about that. He doesn't hide it. So we were looking for an attorney who knew how to punch back and agreed with conservatives. So I'm gonna share this now. This will be a world exclusive. The attorney is Ron Coleman. Now that name might not ring a bell, but Ron Coleman is a partner with Harmeet Dillon, and Harmeet Dillon just ran for the RNC chair for the United States. They are a huge firm out in California. And he is extremely interested in how far we can take this case. And I fully expect, and he's got all these videos. Ron is an awesome dude. He was at CPAC this weekend. So, obviously nothing's happened for the last few days, but he's got plenty to review when he comes in Monday. But we're very excited. Right now, we're still in the investigation stage, but he has been retained. He works for us.
Well, I hope I helped you out a little bit there, buddy.
Yeah, I hope so. If anybody else wants to help us out, they can go to GoFundMe.com, Barron Fight, BaronFight, GoFundMe.com, Barron Fight. And I don't need anybody in the comments saying, oh, man, GoFundMe's canceled, whatever. Yeah, maybe they are, but they're depositing money in our bank account every 2 or 3 days. So they've had plenty of time to cancel us. And even if they do, we'll just go to GiveSendGo or something else. It's fine.
Wouldn't it be funny if the people, if GoFundMe started getting phone calls saying, "Hey, you're funding a hate group here," and because those phone calls would be directed from the person or one of the persons that you're looking to sue. You can't really tell, GoFundMe, hey, stop raising money for this person who's going to use it to sue me.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Oh man, that's what a twisted world we live in.
I got to comment on the elephant in the room, and probably the most important thing of the night is this much sex appeal on the bottom row here.
Are you kidding me?
Beautiful.
I'll tell you what, it's all masculine on this forum though. So I think that I've even said it, only not being masculine is what's toxic. This is the least toxic assembly of men, and particularly the foundation of this quadrant. I will agree with you on that.
I'll ask you, Chris. I was going to ask you now. When you got on the Zoom call, and within seconds, the gentleman you're talking to begins to emote and speak like a living meme.
And squirm. Did
you recognize at that point that there was a soy infusion of epic proportions sitting in front of you? I know you can't comment on that because,
I mean, I basically, whenever I'm dealing with somebody, I pretty much, I don't judge you based on, I mean, obviously I have, what do you call it when you profile somebody, right? You sort of just naturally do that.
Right.
And I picked up some things that I found about him that were, quite different from me, quite different from the way I handle myself. But, everybody's different, and I'm okay with that. It was when I realized in that second meeting, the one that kind of went viral.
Yeah.
Within the first minute, he was already saying, hey, just let me go ahead and just put it out there. We're not letting you back on.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I knew if you can see it in 4K, I'm kind of shaking a little bit with absolute anger. I was so angry that this guy was wasting my time and thought he was going to waste my time for another long call. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get this guy on the record saying what he needs to say. And I'm going to make sure he's perfectly clear about what his decision is. And I'll kind of plead the case a little bit just to kind of give him another out. But let's see where this thing goes, because this guy is not my friend, and he has no qualms about
none of your friends.
No,
not just whether you're comic skate or not, because anybody will be able to get you kicked off of his site.
Yeah. Now this broke, by the way, exactly when I was thinking about going to Crowdfunder, because I was shadow banned on Indiegogo during sign up.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez.
I was the first one to ever get shadow banned during sign up. Now, somehow, we managed, my publisher and I, Anthony Romano, Dark Gift Comics, we managed to actually get in contact with someone at Indiegogo, and there's now a dialogue open. And Anthony made it a point, because he was much kinder than I am. I'm not a kind person to cancel culture. That there are a multitude of us that are Comicsgate that are being shadow banned, and perhaps you've got a bad actor in your trust and safety division.
Yeah.
So allegedly they're looking into that.
But that's probably like suggesting, hey, Disney, you've got a bad apple in the studio. You're putting out a lot of content that most of the people that think Disney is great don't agree with.
Yeah.
Right.
To suspect, if there's one cockroach, there's more.
Yeah, just turn over the fridge, buddy, and look.
It's the culture. I feel like it's really the culture in a lot of these big tech companies. And, at the end of the day, it's really fun. I don't want to tell the guy how to run his business, but I don't think it's fair for him to discriminate against people and he's not notifying people, right? So in other words, and I want to go to this point that I point out in the article, and it was brought to my attention by Michael Bancroft, who had really done his homework. And that's what I like about him, is that he comes prepared. He went back to a previous video of his where he was promoting it, and they were going through the terms of service.
Mm-hmm.
And he was promoting it at the time because it seemed quite reasonable.
Because it seemed reasonable. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it did. I mean, it looked good on paper. I mean, it's a true euphemism in this case. And then Michael discovered that they had changed the TOS and added a new bullet point that if you basically are a member of or promote any groups that are non-inclusive. Now, I'm not sure what is non-inclusive about Comicsgate, but I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this with some hesitation. I'm going to say it with hesitation because Comicsgate doesn't virtue signal the diversity in Comicsgate. You understand what I mean? Yeah, that's almost like in the Bible, it talks about if you're giving a tithe, you don't brag about the fact that you're giving a tithe. You just give it. It's between you and God, right? And Comicsgate is about merit, not about identity, sexual, race, philosophy, religion, whatever. But there are Christians, there are atheists, there are men, there are women. There are women who identify as men, there are men who identify as women. There are gay, there are straight, there are old, there are young, there are handicapped people, there are black, brown, yellow, white. It's all there.
And they're all welcome.
And they're all happy.
They're all welcome. You know what, though? What
and
that also means is...
Why does everybody got shit on their parade, man?
Here's why. Because Comicsgate, knowing that they are a diverse group of diverse people and diverse thought and diverse creators, also believes that no matter how diverse another book is represented, it doesn't matter if I criticize a book and someone says, but wait, that's a transgender colorist working on that book. You can't say that. Comicsgate says, who cares? Why not? We're looking at the merit. We're looking at the content. That's all we're concerned about. We're not concerned about checking off the right boxes from the Rainbow Coalition. That is not entertainment.
And yes, Jason, we 100% agree. Comicsgate is an ideal that a lot of people identify with.
Yes,
that's right. And Michael's making a good point. Michael's making a great point. When they broke this story the other night, they had a trans creator on his live stream talking about another Dark Gift book. What's the name of that?
Lightbringer
2. Yeah. Go back, Lightbringer 2.
And that was the only reason their status was brought up was because
Michael wasn't even going to bring it up. She did. She brought it up.
Don't care.
That's right. Comicsgate doesn't care.
We don't label you or categorize you. You're a creator. You're an indie comic creator, and that's all we care about.
But wasn't it Mark Twain that said a lie can get around the world before the truth has even got its pants put on? What do we have to do? Go to Wikipedia and hammer them to get all these things removed about it? Do we have to go force Inverse, Polygon, Mary Sue, and all these others that have wrote these defamatory articles about Comicsgate? I mean, look, I will acquiesce, or I'll admit, there have been things said on live streams with Comicsgate people that are inartful, rude, crass. But if it hurts your feelings, just turn it off. That's just how people talk. And I promise you that the people that write for the Daily Cause that will write an article that says this book is racist AF, I promise you they talk about people a whole lot worse than what these guys are saying on the live stream.
Obviously, race is on their mind all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Point proven.
My problem with the Daily KOS is that was just a hit piece. It had nothing.
That's all it was.
It had
that to me, you could argue that was tortious interference because that writer has her own book on Kickstarter and is considered a creator they love for every campaign they do. I mean, that's the truth.
They love, and not only that, but after their campaigns are done, the Kickstarter review process says, "Hey, we just reviewed this great Kickstarter book that we read." And I'll just point out that, by the way, when David talked about in your DM list about, hey, we can pull books for nudity and stuff. Kickstarter used to pull books for nudity. These people who got Mike Barron pulled down put up a pinup book with full nudity on their covers all down the Kickstarter. I have it in writing from Kickstarter that does not violate their terms of service.
Exactly right.
Folks going to Kickstarter, let the titties flow. Because
and if you get shut down over chesticles or any other nudity, come see RJ at Critical Blast. He'll give you the DM. He'll give you the screenshot, and you take it straight to a nice tort attorney or whatever, or put it right up in Kickstarter's face. Listen, guys, they're not our friends.
They're not.
No.
I've been saying, look, RJ, how long you know me?
Oh,
I've been saying it for a long time. They are not your friends. Make your own site. I've been saying it for 2 years, 3 years. Simon's been saying it for 3-4 years. Make your own page. We can promote you wherever your comic book is. Give me a link. It can be
that is the option. I mean, obviously that's the ideal. But the problem, and I'll just be honest, guys, Kickstarter and Indiegogo are so monolithic. They're behemoths. And if you're on there, people have already signed up for it. And it makes it very easy for them to say, bam, I'll just take that. I'm already a member. I've already backed 100 other books on here. Oh, shoot, look at this. The shadow banning, in my opinion, what Indiegogo is doing with shadow banning is really insidious and diabolical, because what they're doing, and we even found out, and I tested this. I've got 3 guys on the Private American campaign that backed the book, okay? And I had, and I'm going to set that right here. So I had 3 guys that I know that backed the book that I can text, call, email, whatever, anytime, right? I had a guy go and comment on an update, right? And said, hey, man, did you get my address change or whatever? I've been trying to reach you. And I'm like, wait a minute. Oh. So then I got these 3 guys to send me a message as a backer. Send a message. I said, did you use the thing at the top where it says ask a question? Or did you send a note using this? Because there's 2 ways to reach me as the campaign manager.
Not getting your correspondence through the site either?
Guess what? Those 3 guys went. I never got their message. I reached out to that guy directly and got his address change. Because what I was doing, I don't know if anybody knows this, and I think it'd be a fun discussion to talk about crowdfunding, sort of the process a little bit with people. I'm sure it's been done. It'd be boring right now. But you can... on Indiegogo, I got to say, Indiegogo, of all the crowdfunding sites I've used so far, and I've used Zoop, Crowdfunder, Kickstarter, and of course Indiegogo. Haven't tried Fund My Comic yet. We're going to try it out. Do that. Indiegogo, I like the best. The way they handle the data, the way it's very easy. I mean, it really is a slick database that you get from them, and the way that they have it set up, and you can use pictures on your tiers. And I mean, they, in my opinion, they're the creme de la creme. I like them a lot better than Kickstarter. Now, there's so many things wrong with Kickstarter. Don't even get me started on sending out surveys, because nobody likes to fill out a survey. Maybe if you said, hey, I need your address so you can ship me, so I can ship your book, then they would answer it, but they don't. But that's a whole nother kettle of fish. So Indiegogo, I started sending messages. I'm like, hey, I'm not getting messages, and here's the backers I'm not getting messages from. What's going on? And they did crickets. I did the same thing, did another test. Finally, they reached back and said, well, make sure that none of it's marked as spam. You know, that was because of course I've marked Indiegogo as spam, making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Of course, I'm gonna mark it as spam. No, of course not.
And we never check our spam folders. We never check them for anything, guys. We don't look at our spam folders.
Well, I check them. I do. I mean, I got a bunch of side hustles. I got 6, 7 different emails. I check, but they weren't there. Spoiler alert: it wasn't in my spam folder. Jack, fix this is what I said, and then it got rectified. But listen, folks, if you're on Indiegogo and you've experienced shadow banning, you might want to try that test yourself. Yeah, hopefully you won't get the same results.
Make sure that your communications are going to your backers and your backers' communications are making it to you.
The best way to maybe do that is when you post an update, say, hey, if you've reached out to us, follow up here in the comments.
Yeah.
I'm always in your spam folder, baby. Yeah.
The chat is rightly commenting that Comicsgate is filled to the brim with innovators, and we will always find a way to move forward. It's just a shame that the go-to, which for so long had been Indiegogo, now appears to have something stinky in Denmark.
They don't want to tell you outright. I think what they're trying to do is make you so frustrated that
you'll just stop using it. Yeah.
Isn't that such a cowardly thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, at least David Barak told you.
I mean, again, I give David credit. At least he engaged. I don't know that it was a wise idea, but I do appreciate his willingness to engage.
I want to say about David, though, is that David could have said that on day one.
Yeah.
He could have just said that on day one.
He knew why he
been in his inbox.
He knew why he suspended it. Or better yet, I don't think he knew why he suspended it. I think basically they got harangued by several dozen emails and said, well, we got to pull the plug on this, figure out what's going on. He told his people to figure out what was going on. They scratched beneath the surface, heard the word Comicsgate in one of the emails and said, well, let's look this up. What is Comicsgate? Polygon and the Mary Sue says this is a hate group. Wait a minute. What do we got going on here? Okay, let's use that as our excuse.
Yeah. Again, I'm Comicsgate friendly. I have a lot of friends in Comicsgate.
You associate with Comicsgate, Pops.
I also have a lot of friends that are not.
I am
Comicsgate. Okay.
Most of my friends are not Comicsgate, Pops. Come on.
I'm just saying. I came. Look, I was doing this and had 1,500 people in my group before I knew what Comicsgate was. Okay, I was doing this before I knew what Comicsgate was. A lot of my friends are not Comicsgate. A lot of the people I promote are not Comicsgate. You're saying to them they can't use your site because of their association to me, and that's freaking stupid. I don't even create books.
Listen, guys, I don't want to belay the point any longer. I appreciate you guys giving me time on your platform to sort of hash this out. I think some people might have had some questions.
Well, yeah, I did send you that whole file.
Yep, thank you. I got that. And I'll screenshot this. Michael's asking, I'll answer this the best I can, and then I got to tap out. I think that he came on because or came to that conclusion because he's someone who doesn't like problems. I think that he has sold other internet companies in the past. Mm-hmm. And he probably has never had anything go sideways with them. And this did. And I don't know how many emails they got from Daily Kos, but those are some frothing, bloodthirsty leftists that go to that website.
Yeah.
So I suspect he got some really ugly emails, and that put them in high alert. They might have been on short staff since it was a couple of days before Christmas. And then somebody got in his ear and said, these guys are Comicsgate. You don't know what this Comicsgate thing is, right? And he thought he might nip it in the bud. And I think he just wanted to flip this business. I think in 5 years, he's not going to own this company anymore. And he wants to keep it as clean and pretty and shiny as possible, not get any mud or dog. Yeah, I think he just doesn't want any stink on it. You know,
if he was in for a quick buck, though, he'd have said, Comicsgate, come on over.
Well, you made your point earlier, Pops. He's not passionate about this. No, this isn't something. And Shane Davis made the same point. This isn't a guy that's
comics.
He doesn't care, man. He's a middleman. He wanted to set up a payment system so that this guy got their product out. These people paid for it, and he made the coin change in the middle. Yep. Setting up the transactions. Really, legitimately, what he should have done was ignored all those emails. Yep. Because anybody that got their fifis hurt and is sending their outraged emails to you was never going to give you any coinage anyhow, dude.
Yep.
Exactly.
You had all of us willing to give you money. We were all willing to give you a shot. You don't have to like us. I mean, does he like the guys that are putting out the Butt Boys Volume 2? I mean,
yeah, we are. Listen, this is why, boys.
I'm okay with him. I mean, if he's okay with him, I'm okay with him. But why am I not okay?
Yeah.
What I said to the dude directly in a DM was, "This is why we are Comicsgate. You are the reason we are Comicsgate."
Pretty much, it's exactly that kind of stuff.
It's gatekeeping. It's gatekeeping. He basically did exactly why Comicsgate's a thing, because he gatekept.
The one thing that he said when he brought up Comicsgate, he said, anybody who has gate at the end of their blah, 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 should know that that's negative and blah, blah. And it's like, dude, crowdfunder gate.
Wait a minute. I got Colgate on the line. Hold on a second. Did you know you're selling toothpaste? Get out of here.
I got crowdfunder gate now. Okay. It's negative, bro. That makes it negative because somebody put gate on the end of it. That's just stupid.
I see somebody mentioning Cummings and Ernst and Avi Green. Let's be honest with you. I think Avi Green used the term Comicsgate all the way back in 2014. Now, Avi Green is a bit of an autist, and I may be speaking out of turn, but man, he's been giving them hell for years. Comicsgate is just it's just a catch-all term, man. And you know, we're the new punk rock, right? Did punk rockers say, hey, you can't call us punks? No.
They
embraced it.
They embraced it. We are the new punk rock, and you can either get with the program or get left in the dust. Crowdfunder, as far as I'm concerned, is verboten. They are in the rear view. We don't care. If you let us back on, here's my answer. Forget about it.
And you know, you had told them, said, well, if you don't want to do business with us, then, you know, I guess, you know, we're not going to do business with you. Now that got laughed at in certain places because like, oh, that's like, oh, you're breaking up with me, I'm breaking up with you was the analogy. No, it's not so much that if you don't want us on your platform, then we're not going to get on your platform. We're not going to go there for anybody else.
We're not going to buy.
I think that point is missed by some folks because in the first call, I said to him, I don't know if you know this or not, but I publish every Wednesday, and I want every independent creator to hear this. Go to bleedingfull.com and just type in Indie Comics Showcase. Indie Comics Showcase. Every Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, we feature 3 comics that are crowdfunding. And at the bottom of the article, if you've got your own, we say click here and fill this out. We're going to post your interview. Now, what I'm telling you here is, I said, we feature crowdfunding comics every week. I said, if you guys can't make this work out, I cannot in good conscience ever include a campaign that's promoting crowdfunder. You see what kind of position you're putting me in, right?
Right.
So then when I say at the end, well, if you don't want to do business with us, we can't do business with you. What I'm saying is, I've already got your permission to tell everybody associated with Comicsgate that you don't want them on your platform. I'm also telling you that we're not going to ever promote you or your product again. So I have to tell, and I'm going to have to make an addendum to the Indie Comic Showcase thing at the bottom and say, if you are on Crowdfunder, we can't use you. I probably won't do that publicly. I just don't even want to. It's almost like at this point, are we giving them free publicity? I don't know. I mean, I'm going
to advise the people on Crowdfunder now to make a .com like you did.
So yes. Oh, I think that's key.
So that you can trick me into promoting you.
Well, there's
because I'm not putting the word crowdfunder on anything without the word gate behind it.
You do you, Pops.
Chris, about
I'm just saying.
I don't think this guy has any earthly idea how big Comicsgate is, because it is just a loose association of people that believe in
a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he doesn't recognize how much money there is in Comicsgate. You want to turn your nose up at that market, you go right ahead, Scooter Poot. Let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listen, I appreciate everybody. Again, you're all making solid points. I mean, this has been a useful discussion, and I really kind of think these videos, I don't want to boast, but I'm kind of glad they're out there for the simple fact that we got to see these people in the wild. We got to see the process, and he felt comfortable enough to admit this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. Now, would he have done that in a live stream? Highly doubtful. I think he would have jumped all around it like he was doing in those DMs with Pops.
He didn't want to get on a live stream with me.
No, Pops, you primed the pump. You primed the pump, and I pulled the trigger. And I'm telling you, I think this is a coup for us or a bag. And I'm not talking about trying to get scalps, and I'm not going to be the next James O'Keefe from Project Veritas going out and doing, recordings of people.
My friends, man. I'm just protecting my friends.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. What this guy's doing is he is saying, hey, we're taking money out of you. We're going to take money from you. You're going to waste your time. We're going to embarrass you and suspend you. And I'm going to tell you why, but guess what? I'm going to be mad at you if you tell everybody else why.
Right.
Give me a break.
More than once, he asked me not to talk about him.
Well, guess what? That's why Kickstarter doesn't engage. They're too smart.
He told me not to talk about the story or not, and I said when I don't have anything to talk about, I'll quit talking.
Well, maybe he should have said to me, the boss level dude over at Bleeding Full, the little publisher that could. Maybe he should have said to me, none of this is on the record.
Anything.
You're talking to a publisher who posts articles daily, every few hours, 5 or 6 articles a day. And you think that you're going to sit and get on a horn with me? And he says at the end, yeah, you can tell them everything you like, everything I've said. What better way to tell them everything you said
than to show them?
And to just, here's the recording of everything you said.
And he did say something about my integrity, right? He did say something about my integrity. I sat next to 2 very important people today as they talked about future plans, and they looked at me and went, "Oh shit, you're press." And I said, "Your secret's safe, bro."
Your press. Yeah, they should have known that. And
they did.
And in worst case, if it ever goes before a judge, that would be worst case. So worst case is it goes before a judge, and then maybe that attorney or judge is going to say, well, you tweeted that you forgive him and that you stand by your words. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah, what's the problem? Yeah, exactly.
So anybody trying to bring up the fact that the guy says he didn't know he was being recorded, that's a moot point. That's not even, again, ACLU, Supreme Court, it's over. And we're both in one party consent state. So
exactly. So
I don't care about that. Listen, the fact is that was being recorded for our legal representative, but I shared it internally, and somebody internally shared it with somebody else internally, and the next thing you know, Critical Blast had it. It was out there. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I needed just to correct the record. There were a couple things being said that were, misinterpreted maybe. And I'm happy. I'm going to be talking on Billy Tucci's channel later on in the week. I look forward to that. I really like Billy, and
I want you guys to know I didn't go out trying to hit dude. I went out trying to get him to reinstate Mike's book.
I know. Hey, listen, why else would I have emailed? Hey, but think about this, Pops. Hold on a second. 3 outcomes could have happened here. Outcome number 1, he never responds, and we never know what happened, right? That's the worst outcome.
Right.
Outcome number 2 is a little better. He says, hey, you know what? Upon second review, we suspended this without cause, and we're letting them back on. Yep. Comment skate's welcome. Maybe. Right. Maybe he doesn't say that at all. That's outcome number 2. That might have been better. But I think this is actually the best outcome, right? Because basically what he said was, here's why we're not letting you back on. This is really why we canceled you. I'm going to tell you precisely what it is. And it's almost like the devil showing up in your room and nobody believes in the devil, but you just happen to be recording it.
Yep.
There it is.
And said, hey, whoops. And if you're sitting there on a Zoom call and you think that there's no chance in hell that this is being recorded, maybe the lesson here is think again.
When one of the cancel culture representatives actually crawls into the sunlight and the light shines on them, I don't think they realize what's happening until they wither up and die in smoke.
Well, and I know there's a lot. That's a good point. And I also think that a lot of people were disappointed with seeing the video because it really sort of confirmed what their fears were. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like, oh my God, there really is a wolf out in the backyard. I thought it might have been one of the dogs, or whatever, right? It just sort of proved what we suspected. And that's why I think this outcome is the best outcome.
One of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that we had Brian Kriskow checking out Zoop.
Yep.
And we had another friend that was checking out Crowdfunder. And we were happy. It looked like we were it looked like we were headed toward having a place where you guys would be safe to promote your books. We thought we were there. And then halfway through Mike's campaign, we found out. Nope.
And think about that, as depressing as that was. And man, I feel for Brian too. I love Brian, and go back Six Gun Gorilla, wherever it is, right? I think he's
still on Indiegogo.
I think he's got a publishing deal that he's about to announce too, which is even better. But hey, he tweeted that. He tweeted it. I know I can say that. I know I can say it, but nonetheless, listen, I think that Yeah, thank you, Rebel News. Good shout out. They're a great outfit in Canada.
Yeah.
I think that this is the best outcome. So I'm encouraged by this. I think this is what we needed to know. I don't think Zoop is anti-CG because Brian went through it, but CG
they really
kind of
curate a product, though. You have to have a really specific.
Yeah, they're picky,
you know.
And I think that's the same way with Backer Kit. I think Backer Kit's being super picky. I kind of think that Backer Kit is going to be anti-CG. I don't hold out hope, but I am hopeful and encouraged by this outcome. We know what the deal is, guys. And yes, it sucks, Amy, that there's so many amazing people, but it's going to get out there. We're going to get it out there. We got guys like Pops and Critical Blast and freaking Michael Bancroft and all of them are out, and Bleeding Fool. We're promoting it. We'll keep on promoting it. Good stuff rises to the top. And listen, not every indie comics is good. I mean, I've bought several. But we don't vet those books on Bleeding Fool. I mean, so there might be some, this looks a little hinky. That's up to you. We're just we're interviewing them. We're showing you some pictures and then give you the link. Go right to it, wherever it is. If it's on Amazon, I know John De La Raz tried the Amazon route a little bit. I don't think he was super pumped about how it turned out. But, not every book's a winner. And sometimes there's some hidden gems that never get discovered. So don't give up. Don't give up looking. And God bless everybody. I mean, let's just all have fun here. I mean, why can't we all just do business and not be harassed by these weirdos?
And Adam Lawson, who, by the way, I am finishing up the fulfillment for Kids and Monsters right now as we speak. He hangs on CG channels. He's made the Wesley Snipes book. Ipso facto, Crowdfundgate has banned black actor Wesley Snipes.
Damn. So, also a shame. Yeah. Hey, you know what? They've banned white, black, yellow, brown. They've banned them all. I mean, their loss. At the end of the day, it's their loss. Yep.
Really, like I said, that money could have.
And it's Comicsgate's game. Now you know what? Anybody associated with Comicsgate or within the sound of my ear knows this right now. You've learned one thing. Don't waste your time.
There you go.
Yep. Don't waste your time there. Guys, on that note, I got to go. Check out bleedingfool.com. The article, all the embedded videos are still on the front page. They'll be there till probably mid-morning tomorrow when the next columns start to come up. Indie backers or indie creators, Indie Comic Showcase. It's over at Bleeding Fool. We will promote your book. It's free. We don't charge you for it. And I know these guys don't either, although they do have services that you can pay for.
He does. He does.
Yes, of course. But I love you all. I love this community. I love indie comics. I love indie creators. I wish I could create my own. Maybe one day I will. Until then, hasta la vista, baby.
All right. We'll leave with that. Yes, sir.
RJ.
Yes.
You need to pull out a nice new black one, bro. That one's looking a little washed, a little gray. I'm just saying.
That's just like his skin. It's the camera.
How's that?
This still looks gray, man. Mine looks black.
He's good. He's good. Look, you're just darkness, Pops. Okay.
Just turn off all the lights. I turn off all the lights. We're good. All right. Thanks for coming on, guys. Been a good talk. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you. We don't have a show without you being out there listening to us. We're just a podcast falling in the woods otherwise. And with that, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.